Yes, I graduated from UK in 1973, and the interesting thing was when I majored in ag, girls had just been allowed to be in the FFA in 1969, so I was the pioneer. After graduating from UK, you had me as a student teacher, and I think what I remember is I was in there with Mike Ritchie and some of the former the state FFA officers, and it was overwhelming. I don't know if I can really be an ag teacher, and I would tell you, Dr. Byers, I don't know if I can do this. But I ended up choosing to go out to Arizona. I wanted to do something different. I had a real mission nature about me. I became the first agriculture teacher, well, the first female in the state of Arizona, and I wanted to go do something different. So I went to Chinle, Arizona, and I taught there for 2 years with the Navajos. And it was quite an experience teaching there. I was like 170 miles from a doctor and had a livestock lab, rodeo club. And what I really remember about it was I got there 2 weeks before school started, 6,000 foot elevation, had to do all different types of agriculture. I think I probably called you every 2 or 3 weeks. You know, Dr. Byers, these Navajo students won't even speak to me because I replaced a great teacher who rodeoed, and here I pulled in a 1970 Firebird from Kentucky to teach ag. But after 2 years, the kids loved me, I loved them. I herded sheep in the canyon, raised the first hybrid corn, went to healing ceremonies, and I think after the first year, a real compliment was my little Navajo student said, well, Miss Oldfield, are you going to leave us like everybody else did? And so the big thing is I got homesick for Kentucky. So when I came back, you offered me an assistantship to be working with you with the student teachers. And wow, that was exciting because in Arizona they taught different from what we had been taught when I was there in '73. So I was able to sit in your class and really work with the student teachers, and it was there, it really was, wow, this is what I did wrong when I went to Arizona. So after graduate school, you know, you really, Dr. Byers, I owe my life to you as far as my career. You know, I was in Ag Ed Society and all these different organizations. I tried to organize the College of Ag when I was there prior to graduating. So you had me working with the Southern Region Ag Ed Conference, and you know, I always remember that red pencil and everything we would do. You would always edit it, and I would always say, okay, Dr. Byers, now tell me what to do. But when I went to the Southern Region Ag Ed Conference, since I was one of the first women really involved, I made a lot of contacts. And I know I had a lot of opportunities, like to go to Mississippi State, get my PhD, but I wanted to be a high school agriculture teacher. So after I got my master's, I went to Morgan County, my home county. What's ironic, I had gone back to Arizona to see my students, put an application everywhere, and my mom was so excited. Oh, Brenda, you won't believe it. Morgan County just put in the Lincoln Valley Courier, they've hired you as the new ag teacher. And I hadn't even got an interview, but I had been in 4-H, FHA, and all that growing up, so they knew our family. But I did go back to Morgan County where I taught 6 years. I had my sister and brother and cousins, and we put on lamb shows. We traveled everywhere, and my whole life, you know, I think one night I didn't go to bed for 3 days and borrowed typewriters from the English teachers. We didn't even have a typewriter, and we did everything, every contest, because Morgan County had really never done that much. And I'll never forget the year that we won 3 national gold emblems in Kansas City. And I got my chauffeur's license, and my family doctor who had delivered me in White Oak just did a checkoff. And I got a brand new minibus to go to Kansas City with 16 FFA kids, and Lord behold, Dr. Byers, I ended up getting stuck downtown Kansas City with my bus and took the top of my bus off. But I didn't get fired. So then, you know, I really wanted to go west, so I decided to come back to Lexington. I got asked to be the agriculture teacher at Scott County High School, and that was in 1985, and everybody couldn't believe that I would leave my home county, but I wanted a challenge. So I came to Georgetown, and I worked with John Lacey and Doug Southworth, and you know, my big strategy for me was to work with freshmen and recruit. That's about the time the revision of curriculums came about. The numbers had we'd gone from production ag more to, that's about the time Toyota was announced at Georgetown. So I had to really do a different type of curriculum. So I really, really loved Scott County. I did a little bit of everything. We did freshwater prawn, we did tilapia in my classroom, we raised peppers at the school farm. So I just got to dibble and dabble in a lot of things, but what I really loved is I love teaching. and I taught freshmen from Navajos to Morgan County to Scott County. And I retired in 2004, very involved with leadership activities. I love getting my students. I've got students now that ag agents, veterinarians, really, it's very empowering for me to know that maybe I made a difference in their lives, just like the people in my life, you, and when I was in high school, my home ec teacher made home visits. So I was fortunate that I could make home visits with the ag ed programs. So then I was president of Ag Teachers, president of the Kentucky Vocational Association. What I'm really proud of was I really was able, I felt like I was a real pioneer for women. I was the second female teacher in Kentucky. So I always felt pressured that I had to do a good job. I worked really hard. Yes, we competed in a lot of contests, and I put in many long hours. Matter of fact, I put in so many long hours, I didn't get married to Ralph Sininger until I was almost 50, 14 years ago, because I just loved working, and I could get on an FFA high. But I guess the big thing is, that's why I like working with the foundation right now. I was involved with Mike Ritchie and Damon Talley back in the 80s when I was at Scott County to establish the FFA Foundation. Because all the money that came in to sponsor contests, like proficiencies, maybe it was $30 for a winner, every year, Mr. Dalton, whatever we took in for donations went out. So traveling with the Ag Teachers Association, I realized that some other states had foundations. And I said, let's do that, until we had our meeting today with Wayne Ezell for his Teacher Changes Lives. I really didn't realize it was sort of controversial till they were talking about it today, that we form a foundation. I guess ag teachers were kind of slow to change, especially having women to want to do something. But what I'm really proud of is I actually started the tractor program in 1995. I think going to Michigan, I learned, that they were doing a tractor program. And what's ironic about it, I did not know that the Quality Co-op actually purchased the tractors, and the foundation got part of the money. Well, I came back and convinced Mr. Dalton, hey, Mr. Dalton, this is a great idea. Let's let the foundation, we can buy, these tractors from Erdl that was made in the United States. I bet we can get somebody to sell them for us. And so then I went to Frank Vaughn, who was a regional director for Southern States, happened to be for Georgetown, and I said, Frank, I've got this great idea. We could do this FFA tractor, because we really need to hire an executive director. We really want the foundation to grow. So I convinced Frank Vaughn, who in turn talked to all the regional directors and got them on board, and they are still on board, and they have sold our tractor for 20 years and not made any profit off of it. And I didn't really know when I started this that we had to buy the tractors up front. And convincing Mr. Dalton that we needed to do this, it was a big risk. But it's been successful. This year, we're after 20 years, we're going to go to a different type of tractor, because it was made from Erdl in the United States to Mexico, then it went to China. So I'm very proud of the foundation. I'm a part of the board of trustees. We are doing many things. They help students, and I get really psyched up, and I guess my adrenaline going when I come to the convention. And I'm like, I still go to a lot of my former students, their weddings, their baby showers, funerals, and I think that's what's so wonderful about the Ag Ed family. We are close, and really, agriculture teachers change lives. Even though I didn't have high school teachers, you, Dr. Binkley, people at UK, and I wanted to be an example and be a mentor to some of my students.
Sure. What's been your experience as a female in the Ag Ed program?
Oh, I've had a great experience, Dr. Byers. I had so many job opportunities. I was treated so in Arizona, the Ag Teachers Conference. When I walk in there from Kentucky to teach on the Navajo Reservation, the president of the Arizona Ag Teachers said, come here. It's a state conference. I didn't know anybody. He says, we always tell some pretty rank jokes. And he said, I will not tell that joke if it offends you, because we just don't know what to do to have a female. And he told me the joke. I said, oh, it's no problem. Go ahead. They really treated me like a princess. And and you all did that at UK. And I've always told I've had student teachers that are female. I said, you know what? You do your job. You do what you're supposed to do. You care about your students, and it'll happen. You can't go out there and demand to be accepted. You prove that you can do your job. Well, I think it's tough being a teacher. The 26 out of 27 years, I taught 4 classes on a 6-period day. I was able to make the home visits, do the traditional programs that we've heard about with our interviews today and last year. It's tough. And I think you have to juggle your family. I'm probably not going to recommend that the women wait as long as I did to get married. Luckily, I found a great husband. But you need to have balance in your life, but it needs to be your passion, and you need to care about students. And that's the thing. If you love your job and your students know that you love them, then that's what's important in life.